Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Insomniacs After School episode number 10 reaction. So the previous episode, um, what happened was Ganta had to find a job, like a part-time job, because the school won't really cover the trip that they'll go to for snapping the picture and putting that in the competition. The school won't really cover it. So yeah, he needs like quite a lot of money. Like they need like a place to stay and all that. It's like he has like a lot of places to go in mind. So that is why he decides to kind of do a part-time job. However, no place kind of hires him. In the end, Shiromaru Senpai kind of helps him out by giving him a job in her arcade, and like a few other stuff happens. Later on, Magari actually kind of asks her sister that, oh, we have our grandparents have like a little house over there, so can we actually use it? And yeah, by the end of it, it was approved. So yeah, the at least the hotel and the the lodging, money that they'll need will be covered by that. However, in the end, we also get to see that Margari's sister was, I'll also go with you guys, and that's where it ended. So let's see what happens. Episode number 10, let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Kurashiki sensei is here. Okay. Oh, this is a sister. Yeah. She really looks a lot like Magari now that I'm looking at her. Only her hair is different. What? Yeah, she looks so much like her. Yeah, they look exactly the same. Wow. Oh, yeah. No. Okay. Oh my god, what the hell are you doing? Yo, guys, there's someone else here. Oh my god. Hmm. Oh. Hmm. Okay. Oh. Well, yeah. No, you need. Whoa, what? Yo, she just sat down in the road. I love how she went in the shade, not in the, like in the light. Wow, the difference. Mm. He is like so. What can I say? Like so reserved with his. You can see that his son. What? Crushing the heath? What does that even mean? Wait. Oh, that's okay. Oh yeah, we heard this story. I remember um his friend telling him that story. Ukegawa. After, yeah. Okay, so is his mother not alive? I'm guessing. Oh no, she left them. Oh my god. Hmm. Hmm. Oh. Ceremony. Ah, I see. Caught up in time. Something in the landscape. Heart. Ah, instincts. Yeah. The cat is so calm. Okay. Kanazawa. Oh. Oh. I see. Oh. Yeah. Hmm. Damn. All right, that sounds really nice. Oh, he's gonna snap a picture. Here we go. Oh wow. The oh, okay. I thought where the hell did the sakura petals come from? Yep, that was the spark. That Shiramano Senpai was talking about. Day one. Oh, they're okay. Like for his dad, isn't? Won't his dad like say? I guess not. Like he's also very awkward, kind of. Oh, oh wow. What? Well, obviously it's been kept closed for a long time, so mountains are mountains and rivers are rivers. Huh. Hmm. Oh wow, that's pretty nice. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, not anymore. Toilet. There's no toilet. Oh boy. Okay, we have noodles and okay, fish. No, wait, what is that? Chicken. Oh, he's making. Oh wow, that looks. But master of the kitchen. Practice. The smaller Magari. Oh boy. Pika of the fur. Wait, who's that? Uh, Wait, does her sister know about Margari's insomnia? Wow. Hmm. No, wait, she fell asleep over. It's probably very like like in very peace here. That's why she fell asleep so quickly. What are you doing? Wait, didn't he say? Oh, I guess he probably saw Magari sleeping. That's why probably let her sleep. I don't know. Like he was talking about taking Magari with him. Hmm. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, he saw that she was asleep. That's why she came alone. Is this a sister or her? No, it's a sister. Yep. Oh yeah, she had to. Oh boy. Oh boy. I remember these. The mosquito repellents. Hmm. Preferred, she says. She's like, wait, she told you? Hmm. Captured. Oh, that's what he was doing. What? Who said that? Why? What are these dead flags? Other good thing. Well, you don't know. He's also in the same position. He, like, he himself. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Oh boy. Yeah. She probably never even saw like a very good picture. That's why she's like, oh, is it that good? Like. Hmm. Yep. All the three are in the same picture. The sky, the ocean, the land. Hmm. Oh, she's going back. She's like, oh, you guys will be fine. Wakura. Okay, so I don't know if that was the truth. Yeah, like I said, she probably thought like, wow, she actually told him. Sure. Oh, and she probably like that is why she like decided to go like become a swimmer, and everyone helped her. And she probably is like but then what changed? I'm wondering what made their relationship change. I'm sure something did. Oh, there it is. Like she also probably doesn't want other people's help to win something. Like it goes both ways, you know. Yeah, it goes both ways. Like you cannot really think that oh she's so better off. Like she gets all the help. That's why she was telling that to Ganta as well. What responsibility did I? Hmm. Breakfast. Oh no, the light. Yep, that is it. Hmm. Ah. Hmm. Okay, is that it, or there's something left? No, that is it. Right. So this was episode number 10. So we begin this episode with okay, we begin this episode with Kurashiki Sensei going to Magari's place first. Like to, I'm guessing, like, to ask for, I guess, permission and stuff, all that stuff. Like because she's the advisor. So yeah, she's there. Maganta's also there, and Magari, like, like, gives Ganta like a little tea. Well, Isaki, not Isaki, sorry. Kurashiki Sensei is talking, like, inside with her parents, and we hear Ganta gets to meet Magari's or Isaki's sister. And I actually realized here after watching her properly, she looks exactly like her sister. Only the hair color is a bit different. And I think she probably dyes her hair or something. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that's a natural hair color. Don't really know. But either way, yeah, they look exactly the same. Like their face. So okay, so she's like, "Oh, I'm Isaki's sister," and kind of introduces herself. Isaki comes in, and she also is like, "Oh, why are you wearing my shirt, sister?" Like typical sibling banter. And so here she's like, "Oh, I will be taking you guys to the location," and Ganta's like, "Is this a joke?" And she's like, "Nope. Like our parents, like like told me to do that." And yeah, so they are like kind of talking about this whole thing, like just having like a little argument and all that. So there you go. Now after that we get to see yeah, we get to see Kurashiki Sensei along with Magari and Ganta go to his place, that is Ganta's place, and obviously Ganta only has his dad with him. So now here's one of the questions that I've always thought it gets answered. I thought his mother died. But you know what? It kind of makes sense now, where his his father kind of explains that his mother left. It makes sense why, in one of the previous episode, Ganta was like, oh, like like it all happened, like like this always happens whenever something is like going great, everything kind of comes crashing down, and the fact that his mother just left one day probably had brought fear in his heart about losing people when he's asleep. Like I'm guessing this is what happened when he was asleep one day. Like his mother left, and he woke up, and from that day onwards, he never got to see his mother again. So this is definitely the reason why he has insomnia. He fears the fact that someone else will leave if he falls asleep, and that is like the psychological, like like damage that it has done to him at a very young age. That is actually still affecting him now, and he still suffers from insomnia, which is, I think, the reason why he cannot fall asleep. Also, interesting how both the, like the reason behind both of their insomnias are actually, I guess insomnia is kind of like a psychological, uh like, I guess, a reason for people who are not able to fall asleep, because like a psychological reason, because both him and Margari as well, like Margari's situation is, Margari is afraid of dying. She's afraid of thinking like, oh, my heart will like just stop beating in the middle of the night. That's why she cannot fall asleep, and that's why she falls asleep whenever she's like beside a heart and a heartbeat. She calms down and falls asleep. So that is why. So both are like psychological, like like fears that kind of make them stay awake at night. Like Ganta, fear of losing people, Margari, fear of dying. So yeah, now after that, okay, so yeah, in this section we get to see Margaret's dad kind of talking about, and we've already kind of seen how we've seen that how Ganta, not Margaret, sorry, Ganta's dad. We've seen that how Ganta actually doesn't really try to bother his dad with anything else, and like the fact that his mother left him, it probably like put such a huge, like big impression on him, that he doesn't really want to tell his problems to his dad. Like it's not that his dad isn't really taking care of him or looking after him, he just doesn't want to let his dad know. So here we get to see like Kanta dad kind of talk about this whole thing, and Ganta said like, oh, like, wait, he's actually he's actually interested in stargazing. And he's like, oh, that's nice, like I never knew that. And then he says, kind of talks about a little bit of a story, and he's like, you know what happened in, like, when I was a, like, when he was a kid. I was called one day to school, and I thought like, oh no, finally he actually became like a delinquent or something. And I was ready to apologize. I came to the teacher, and the teacher was like, oh, like Nakami kun cannot stop crushing the heel of his shoes. And at that point, I was like, wait, what? Crushing the heels? What does that even mean? And I didn't understand. I guess the dad also didn't properly understand. He was like, okay. And they go back home, and later on, the dad catches what actually happened. So basically, his shoe was small. He didn't tell his dad that, oh, my shoe has gotten small, because he didn't want to bother him with it, and that's why he was crushing the, like, the heel of the shoe to kind of, like, make it a little bit more, I guess, spacier or whatever. That was the whole thing. And I remember Ukegawa talking about the same story as well. So that was the whole thing, and that's when his dad realized that Ganta doesn't really his own, like, like, things that he wants. He doesn't really explain or express that to him. And yeah, so that is what this whole thing is. So I'm guessing he's probably happy that he's actually doing something on his own, like on acting on his own wish. That's what he's doing. Even though obviously he's like, like doing, taking all of these burden on his own, still he's doing it himself. Like, with the whole money problem, he never asked his dad for any help. He was like, oh, I need to go to part-time job and this and that. So he's still like, like not really relying on him, but at least he's actually doing something on his own and kind of taking initiative, which is something, like, I guess, is kind of positive in this situation. Okay, now next we see Kanta goes to Shiromaru senpai's place, and she's like helping him out and like teaching him what to do, when to, like, press the different button and all that stuff. And yeah, so they talk about Kanazawa, I think. Yeah, and where they're going to go and, I think, like, buy the, like, like the camping goods and stuff. So she says that, oh, I know about that place because, okay, wait a minute. Okay, back when I won the contest, the award ceremony was held at prefecture office in Kanazawa. And he says how, like, like, the club advisor was hands off, no members beside me. And she was like, oh, I hated going there alone, I was embarrassed. But then in the end, Kurashika sensei agreed to come with her, even though she had nothing to do with it. And yeah, so that was the whole thing. And now she's like, oh, like, your photographs have improved a lot. So she kind of tells, like, she was feeling extremely embarrassed saying this, but she kind of told him like what she feels whenever she takes pictures. She's like, oh, there's always this one moment of like, oh, this is the time, and you need to press the shutter then. And she's like, and that is the moment when an outstanding photograph is born. You need to feel it. And obviously, like, telling this, she was just so embarrassed that she puts her cat in front of her face. And then Kanta's like, all right, I'll try that. Thank you. Oh boy, and yeah. Now later we get to see them going to Kanazawa, and we see like they like are like buying the camping goods and the other stuff. And here Ganta's like, oh, have you been to this place, Margaret? And Margaret's like, yeah, I kind of like, like kind of used to come here now and then, and I know this road. And she takes him to like a place where it's like very beautiful with a lot of like, like trees lined. And she's like, oh, this place becomes so amazing in spring when the cherry blossoms are in like, like full bloom. And she's like, I wanted to show you this place to you. And here, like he gets a flash of inspiration, and he kind of like envisions the place like filled with sakura trees in full bloom, Margaret standing there. But obviously, yeah, that wasn't the case. So here, I guess Ganta realizes that this was what Shiromaru Senpai was talking about. This is the moment, where an outstanding picture would be born. Okay, now after that we get to see he actually like made the food for his dad for like so many days. How many? 5 days or something, the amount of time they'll be outside. Now I don't really understand one thing. Like, I guess he makes his dad the food. Like, I can understand when they're at home, but in this situation, I guess his dad never told him. Like, I was going to say, like, couldn't his dad say something like, "Oh, yeah, you don't have to, like, make food for me. I'll eat outside. Like when you come back, then you resume again." But like I said, I think his dad probably, I don't know, like, probably doesn't interact with him that much. Now, there's another thing that I still don't understand. I can understand Ganta being afraid and like kind of hesitating to tell his dad about stuff, and like not really explaining stuff to him and not really bothering him with other stuff. I don't understand why his dad doesn't try to talk to him. This part is kind of weird. I really don't understand that. Like, obviously, you can see his dad wants to talk to him, but he doesn't. Like, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, it's probably. I'm pretty sure he tried. That's probably it. I'm pretty sure he tried before, but Kantar also always probably like kind of brushed him away and said like, "Oh no, it's nothing, no problem." So he probably just gave up by the end of it. I'm guessing that would be my guess, because I'm sure like at first I thought like, is there like some kind of a bad relationship between them two? But from the looks of it up until now, there doesn't seem like any bad relationship between them two. Kanta is just doesn't want to bother his father, and his father is too awkward to confront him about it. And not only that, like I said, like I think like his dad probably tried before to kind of talk to him about this, but he probably just brushed him aside and didn't really like say anything, and always like probably avoided the topic completely. So little by little, I guess his dad just gave up by the end of it, and that's why there's like this like awkward mood between these two always, even though there's not really any quarrel or anything going on between them. Like both are fine with each other. Something like that, I guess. Anyways, so later on we get to see Ganta getting into the car. Like Magari's sister is there, not Magari but Isaki's sister. Both are Magari. That's why. Okay, so yeah, after that they reach the house, and yeah, like Isaki kind of shows him the place, and she's like, "Oh, this place, look at this place." Like, he kind of opens like the sliding door, and she's like, "There's the ocean over there, there's a shrine over here, and nothing else." It's a very, very quiet, and a very, like, like a lot of less people stay here. Not much people stay here. It's very quiet, it's very nice. And Gansa's like, "Yeah, I agree." Okay, so after that, so Isaki's sister like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the bath," and Isaki's like, "Then I'll go next," and Ganta's like, "Then I'm going to make the food." So there you go. They start making the food. Isaki's sister first comes in, and she's like, "Oh, what are you making?" So he was making like the cool noodles. What do you call them? Hiyashuka, I think. Just a minute. Chilled noodles. That's what they call it. Yeah, hiyashuka. Like I guess like obviously like this is one way. I remember like seeing in other animes like the way they do hiyashuka is like, I think like the one with the bamboo, where they put like a bamboo thing like water. Oh no, that is something else. Never mind. That is nagashi somen. Okay, never mind. I was mixing two things up. Never mind. Like scratch that. I was wrong. That is something else completely. That is nagashi somen. This is something different. This is hiyashuka. Okay. Um. All right. Anyways, so here, like after that, Marguerite comes in, like with all her hair open and everything. Kanta gets a little embarrassed. After that, here the sister kind of teases him by saying like, "Oh, like why? Who are you calling Marguerite? We both are Marguerite here. So which Marguerite?" and, and Isaki's like sister, stop it. All right. Now after that, her sister kind of looks at the album of like like Isaki's childhood, and she remembers the past where she used to always like like complain about how everyone's paying attention to his sister, and she remembers like a time where she was like going to the grandma's place, and like she was very annoyed by it, and she's like, "Oh, why can't we go to an amusement park or something like that?" She says, and the mom and dad was like, "Oh, I like your sister cannot go with that, so we feel bad for your sister, that's why." And she was pretty pissed off at that, and she remembers all those times, and now after like in the present, she sees that his sister has fallen asleep in the corridor. And yeah, now we cut to the next scene where we see Ganta just going outside, like looking at the different places, just like like having a little sightseeing, going to the shrine, and kind of getting like a really good angle where she can get both the sky, the ocean, and the land. And he's like, oh, this is perfect. And he kind of set his camera, and he kind of does a little practice run, and he's like, all right, let me quickly contact Isaki. And he messages her, and she reads the messages, and she's like, all right, I'm going to come. We see like Isaki is like, oh sister, I'm going to go out a bit, and his sister's laughing because she made like doodles on her face. Anyways, now later on we see yeah, her sister come in to the shrine at the beginning at first, and kind of sit down beside Ganta and starts talking. So here they have a little conversation about like, I think like, when did they meet? Oh no, at first she says like, do you have any siblings? And he's like, no. And then she talks about her past, and she says like, oh, do you might know about this, but my Marguerite has a little bit of a, like a problem. She had a problem in her childhood. She was a little sick. And Ganta's like, yeah, I know about the heart disease and the operation. And she's like, wait, what? Because like she was very surprised. She was like, she never really tells anyone about it. And I think here she realized that, okay, you know what, I need to properly talk to this guy. Because as soon as he talked about the heart disease, like she thought that, I don't know, she probably thought that I need to check if this guy's like taking pity on her, or if something like that is happening. So what she does is like, she starts like the story. She's like, okay, yeah, she says like, I always felt, where is that part? No, when did, oh, that she says that later. Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. She tells the story later at the ending. Okay, before that she says that over here in the shrine, she says that, oh, do you feel sorry for her? Like about this whole thing. Like I also was told the same, thing. Like my parents also told me to, like, oh, don't you feel bad for her? Don't you feel sorry for her? So I always got annoyed by it, and I used to kind of mess with her, to get back at her. But then she's like, she's like, what fun are you having coming here? You know, Ganta. And Ganta's like, oh no, like I'm having a lot of fun, like this place. I'm trying to find a place where it's like sky, ocean, and the land. And she's like, oh, I'm not interested in that. And then she again tries to kind of kind of change the subject. And she's like, oh, like, who hooked up with you? And then he kind of gets embarrassed. Obviously she was lying here, she tells later on. Anyways, then suddenly she's like, don't get involved with Isaki. Now obviously here you can see that she thought that like Ganta probably feels sorry for her or something like that. Maybe that is why he's trying to get involved. And this kind of makes me realize that this she probably thought that the same thing is happening again. Like, remember that little story she tells after that, where she says how Isaki was frustrated that people are just feel sorry for her, and that is why they help her, and she was crying. So she probably thought that, oh, like, is Ganta also someone like that? If that is the case, then you should stop interacting with her, because Isaki doesn't like that. And that's what she was trying to say here. But you can see that Ganta kind of like directly tells her that no, like none of that. Like, he says that when it comes to Isaki, I probably don't know half of what she's been through, but I've never felt sorry for her, not even once. Personally, I think she's cool. And then she like directly looks at her and says like, she's someone who shines brightly in my eyes. And then Isaki comes in. He tries to kind of like scare them, but Isaki's sister's like, oh, I already did that. But anyways, so there you go. That is the end of that conversation. Later on, her sister kind of tells Ganta like, oh, I was just lying about the whole hooking up thing. I was just trying to let you spill the beans. Anyways, after that, it's kind of nighttime, and his sister's like, "What are you guys doing? Like, is this fun for you guys? Like, what even picture are you taking?" And Ganta's like, "Oh, you want to look? You can look." And she comes and she sees the picture, and she's like, "Oh wow, this is actually pretty nice." And Margaret's like, "Isaki's like, see, I told you." So yeah, after that, you can see that her sister kind of looks at both Isaki and Ganta talking to each other, and kind of realizes that, yeah, you know what, it's fine now. Like it probably is okay to just pass on the baton to him. And after that, she at the morning she decides to like pack up and leave, and she's like, it's fine, like, I'm just going to my boyfriend's place. Don't tell mom and dad though, you know. And they, like, both her and, like, Isaki starts kind of quarreling, like, sibling banter again. And then after that, Ganta comes out to help her out, putting the luggage. And Ganta's like, wait, was it my fault, like the whole conversation that we had? And he's like, did I like make you awkward or something, like, like. And she's kind of like, nah, nothing like that, kind of like, like hits his chest. And she says like, oh, she never opens up to anyone, but the fact that she opened up to you in itself was like such a big deal. And here she tells him the story of when she was a kid, how, like, all the time everyone kind of, like, favored her, which she kind of really didn't like. She was like, oh, everyone's always like just fussing about Marguerite, you know. Like there was that like little relay race that was happening, and everyone was like, oh, Marguerite, like, 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 best of luck, Marguerite, and all that. And she was like all annoyed and everything. She's like, "Ah, everyone's just Marguerite, 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 like, what the hell." And yeah, in the relay race, you can see Marguerite struggling, but then, like, like everyone else is like grabs her hand, like, like helps her out, and she wins. And her sister's like, God damn it, like, not again. And like kind of gets frustrated, annoyed, just leaves. And later on sees Marguerite's crying, and she's like, what the hell, why the hell are you crying? And Marguerite says like, because, like, I don't want to win like this. And she was ashamed that she needed help from others. And that is when she says that she realized that I thought how Marguerite is just having it so easy, while in reality, in her shoes, she was having the exact opposite, like, like time. Like, like, I just realized how she hated everyone always trying to help her out just because she had this, like, this disease, and she had the problem, she had like an operation and all that. Just because of that, everyone just tries to go out of their way to help her. Obviously they don't have any bad intention, like, the girls, those kids who tried helped her out to win the relay race. I doubt they had any bad intention. They definitely wanted to help her. All the other people who are cheering for her definitely wanted to help her out as well. But she, as an individual, felt ashamed that she always needed help from other people. And it is pretty understandable, like, just imagine all the time, like it's nice to help others. However, if you're the one who's always receiving that help, after a certain period of time, you'll start getting bothered by it. You'll be like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why do I always need other people's help when I'm not able to do anything for them? That type of feeling. And she felt frustrated because of that. And here is where her sister realized that. And she realized that if someone feels pity for Marguerite and helps her out because of that pity, then Marguerite won't be happy. And that is why she always kept her eye on Marguerite from that point onwards. And that is why in the previous day she also tried to talk to Gant about this whole thing and said that, oh, you shouldn't involve yourself with her if you are actually feeling pity for her. So yeah, so now that is out of the way, she realizes what type of person Ganta is, and that is not his intention. So she's like, yeah, it's fine now, like, I can pass my baton to you. And she's like, put your hand up, and he puts it up, and she kind of like, here you go, passing your baton, my baton to you. And yeah, and then after that she tries to go, and Ganta's like, tell me, like, what should I do, like, you pass the baton, but now what? And she's like, oh, ask her yourself. And then Isagi comes out, and Isagi is like, get out, go away, don't come back. Typical sibling banter. And yeah, she leaves. So there you go. Then after that, they're like, all right, like, let's go. They're a little bit late, but yeah, they are off to snap some more pictures and do sightseeing, I guess. So that is where it ended. So yeah, that was episode number 10. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And yeah, that is it, guys. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with the next episode, episode 11 of Insomniacs After School. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.